All right, guys, it's me, Packy. Hopefully your favorite bowler from the house. If not, hopefully your favorite lefty from the house. If not, unsubscribe right now and stop watching this video. But if you guys agreed with any of those statements, we are giving away a brand new blood red melee jab. So we're giving one away. If you guys stick around to the end, I'll tell you how you can win. But for now, I'm gonna bowl an entire game, kind of talk about this blood red melee jab and what I like out of it, where I can see it being useful for you guys. I'm gonna bowl an entire game, and at the end of that game, I'm gonna throw a couple different shots from a few different angles and talk about why it strikes when I throw it bad, why it strikes when I throw it good, and just the motion that it gives me and where you guys can see it being useful. So stick around to the end and I'll tell you guys how you can win one of your own blood red melee jabs and enter our giveaway. So stick around to the end and maybe one of you guys will be the lucky winner of this blood red melee jab. Well, this one's mine, but one of your own blood red melee jabs, and it will be new. I promise it won't have any holes in it. So let's get it. Here we have my very first shot, and by first shot, I mean second shot. So the first shot that I threw, there was actually a lane breakdown, so I had to pause the video and I had to start a new one, but that was frame 2 for me. We're kind of going to go through the whole game here. Lucky for you guys, I strike a lot. So first shot, light mixer, or second shot, light mixer, not too bad. You know, I'm still trying to figure out the right place to play. Last game I was hooking it a bunch, and now I've decided to move a little left, kind of jam it from like 17 right around 8 down lane. Yeah, as I bowled, I kind of really ripped up the left side of the lane. So I moved right, started hooking a little too much, so I had to move left and really try and feed it in the oil. That one is clearly right. Thinking to myself, oh my God, if I can strike from there, I better be able to strike from anywhere. But yeah, so this ball, it's got some early read to it for a shiny ball. It doesn't go super sideways down lane, which is something I really like. That was probably my first actual good shot in terms of placement on the lane, rev rate, rotation. That was the first one where I let go of it and I said, if that doesn't strike, I have to move a little bit. So we are, probably halfway through the game here, maybe a little less. Get a little lucky, throw it a little hard. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed about this ball. When I throw it a little hard, when I miss it with my speed, it still reacts the same way I want it to. So even though I threw that one a little hard, it still had the energy down lane to still tip over and kick that 7 out, even though I might have thrown a little hard with my speed. That one, another really good shot, kind of that 17 down to 7-8 down lane, really shaped off of it nice. But yeah, so when I get my hand around this ball, it definitely does go sideways. So it kind of does whatever you tell it to. And that's kind of what I'm saying, where if I get around it, it's going to go sideways. If I get up the back, it's kind of going to roll out a little bit like that last shot. So I missed way in. I fell off my shot. That's kind of my miss though. When I fall off my shot, I kind of jam on it, so I hit it a little extra hard, but I also roll it. So it was nice to see that my miss with this ball still kind of did the right thing. It still kind of made the right shape. It rolled out right into the pocket. Come back by throwing a shot where I miss a mile right. Get a little lucky break. At this point, I think I'm in like the 8th frame, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Yes, so this would be like my 9th frame where I get lucky there, and I'm like, okay, now I have a chance to shoot 300. We're in frame 10 here, stepping up first shot. I think to myself, how about you throw it a little bit better than the last one? Because that was horrible. Throw it really good. Kind of get that mixer again, though, where I throw it a little hard. I leave it in the oil. This time it wasn't hard and left. It was hard and in. So I kind of leave it in the oil. Luckily, mix them up a little bit. Mix them up a little bit. Get the tickler. But yeah, so it hits when it goes light. It hits when it goes a little high. So this ball, that was a really good shot on the 11th right there. So now we have a chance for 300, stepping up. I'll show you guys the score at the end of the game. That way, I'm not lying, because I would never lie to you guys about shooting an honor score. But yeah, so these, it's just practice, just me. Got a couple mechanics in the back watching me. Really good shot here. I think it was probably just time for me to move. heartbreaker 8-pin there. But yeah, I think it was just time for me to move. I had to move a little further in. I talked about how I started off a little further right and then I moved into where the oil is. There you go, 299. But here's a couple more shots just from a little different angle. So I've now chased it a little further right and I'm sending it more around the pattern instead of playing that kind of high and tight line. But yeah, so that the further I move in, the more it does want to come off the pattern harder and harder and harder. So this is me just moving a little right, getting my hand around it. And as you guys see, this is that melee jab kind of shape. The melee jab SE brought you that same shape where it gets really far down lane and it just wants to go right. It wants to come back no matter how far right I move. It still wants to come back and be a truck through the pins. So yeah, this is it's becoming one of my favorite balls already. I probably have between 5 and 10 games with it, so not too many. But I've practiced with it twice, and it's becoming. Could have used that break a little earlier, but it's becoming one of my favorite balls. All right, so as you guys can see, this ball is an absolute beast for me. It really hits the pins hard. I kind of showed you a few different angles, kind of playing a little straighter in the oil and then moving in and sending it all the way left and sending it out to that dry area out on the gutter. So just a couple different angles for me. This is my layout on it. It's a pretty normal layout for me. It is a 5 1/4 inch pin. But yeah, this blood red melee jab is a beast. And so for you guys that stuck around, I'm gonna tell you guys how to win one. All you have to do is comment your favorite Brunswick ball currently in your bag, as well as tell us what weight you throw. So pick your favorite ball and tell us what weight you throw. Throw it in the comments down below. But now to go over this ball a little bit, if I had to pick, this is something I do every video. I pick whether the ball is gonna go in my tournament bag or whether it's gonna go in my house shot bag. And I would say this ball is a little bit of both. I kind of said that about the last couple balls too, but there's a reason for them, because I've picked some shinier balls the last couple times, and for me, shiny balls always look good in the league. So blood red melee jab is another shiny ball that's gonna look really good on my house condition and across many other house conditions. So it's my house shot, it's one of my house shot balls, or one of my easier condition balls. But this ball is also, it fits in my tournament bag because it's gonna be useful on some heavier oil patterns. If I had to compare it, I would compare it to that Deviate Verge Pearl that we just did. It kind of reads the lane a little earlier. However, this one gets a little further down lane than the Verge Pearl, and it comes off the pattern a little harder. I think honestly, if I polished it up a little bit, it would be much more similar to the, it would spread out even further from the Verge Pearl, where I could, go Verge Pearl, melee jab, the blood red melee jab, and then under that I would put that track tempo that I just reviewed as well. So this ball, that's kind of where it fits in my bag. I could see myself using it on some easier conditions all the way throughout games 1 through 8 or 1 through 10 or however many games we're bowling. I could see myself using it throughout where, I'm playing a little straighter in the oil, and then as the day goes on, I move in. And once the day goes on, at the end of the video you saw, I could stand pretty far right and really just chuck it left, and it came back every single time. Even though it's not something I love doing, it did come back and it made it easier for me to play that angle than it usually would have. So this blood red melee jab, I think it's a beast. I'm gonna put it in both bags, as well as those easier conditions. I can also see myself using it on the harder conditions, maybe touching it up with a little surface to smooth it out down lane. But it already reads on its own with that polish on it that it has. It already reads on its own pretty early and gives me that earlier but continuous shape that I've kind of been missing recently. So I kind of put the melee jab SE off to the side for a while because it hooks a lot, and it was in between those balls, where the uppercut was pretty similar, but I think this one's gonna hook a lot more than the uppercut. It's gonna read a little bit sooner on the lane, and it's gonna continue a little harder, where the uppercut, might be a 2-in-1 left or a 3-in-1 left where I can really jam it in the oil even more. This one I can move a little right, shape it around the corner even more than the uppercut. But yeah, that's where it fits in my bag. And again, if you guys want a ball of your own, a melee jab blood red, we are giving one away to anybody who comments on this video. If they comment their ball weight and their favorite Brunswick ball of all time, they can win their own melee jab blood red. And hopefully you can beat my score today and you guys can shoot a 300 with it, and then we'll show, and you guys can shoot a 300 with it. So like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned. You never know when we're going to give away another ball, but stay tuned for more Brunswick ball videos from me, Storm and Roto Grip from Mikey and Chris and those guys in the house. But yeah, so melee jab, blood red, comment your ball weight as well as your favorite Brunswick ball of all time to win. And let us know in the comments if you guys want to see any other bowling balls or anything else you guys want to see from our channels. So thanks, we appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around to the end. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Appreciate it.